engines. This is the Women's Motorsports Network. From dirt track nights to the bright race lights, from the garage to victory lane. Women are rising, chasing the dream with horsepower running through their veins. Women's Motorsports Network. Hear those engines roar. Stories of courage, speed, and heart, like you've never heard before. Fuel her future, fuel her dreams. Every lap we celebrate. Women's Motorsports Network. Let's hit the track. Let's hit the track. Women's Motorsports Network. Connecting and celebrating women in motorsports. One story at a time.
This episode is sponsored by Snyder's Lawn Care and Property Maintenance in Kalamazoo, Michigan. If storms leave branches, debris, or damage in your yard, including downed trees, their team offers reliable storm damage cleanup services. Reach out to Bob or Andrew at 269-775-1275, or their website is snyderslawncare.com. That's 269-775-1275. Hello, everyone. This is Melinda Russell with the Women's Motorsports Network podcast. And my guest today is someone I've had on before. We call her Mem. She's going to tell us about herself. So, Mem, why don't you start by sharing a little bit about yourself and then tell us, how did you get started in racing?
So, I'm Memarie Ashcraft. I'm a 15-year-old micro sprint racer. I've definitely had just a past in racing. Like, I feel like that's just me, is I don't do much outside of racing. And I guess that's just because I grew up 5 minutes from a track, and I just grew up going to the track ever since I was around like 3 years old. Which also leads into how I started racing. My dad worked on the fire department in my local town, which has the track. And he was working at the track one day, and he was just walking around, and he saw a quarter midget for display. And he came home that night. Or, I mean, I guess I should say we were at the track. But when he got home, he looked it up on Facebook. And he was like, "Are you interested in me just going to the races?" I said, yeah. And next thing you know, I just got thrown in a car. And ever since then, it's kind of just been a passion from there. But I don't really have much other to me besides racing, because that's all I've grown up with.
So let's go back just a minute. So your dad wasn't a racer. He just liked racing.
He definitely liked it. He tried to race like a little after I started racing. So I was maybe 8 when he started racing, and he didn't want his racing to take over my racing. So he just kind of stopped. And then we kind of more focused on like the nationals and quarter midgets. And that's when soon enough we were like, well, we need to get into a bigger car. So that's when I got into the micro.
Yeah. So he hadn't raced before, like you were born or anything.
No, not at all.
No. You just both kind of fell in love with it together. Yeah,
it's definitely just been like a daughter-dad kind of bonding thing.
Yeah. Now, do you have any brothers or sisters?
I have a younger sister.
Okay. And does she like racing, or is she too young yet?
She used to race, and she was good at it too. She was actually crazy good. It was insane. But something happened. She just fell out of it. She just wasn't having a time of her life. So now she's into like horses. She's really into basketball right now. Okay. But she's basically done a lot of different sports. So that was just a whole thing. But now my sister's kind of like, well, I don't really care for racing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's good that you get to try a lot of different things, because when you're a kid, you don't really know what's going to be the thing that really like touches your heart. And so, I'm kind of, my kids all played basketball, and I love college basketball. So this is one of my favorite times a year, because there's racing on, but there's also the March Madness, and I love the March Madness.
Yeah.
So I spend my time over the weekend. I had racing on the big TV, and I had basketball on my computer, so that I could listen with my earphones on the computer. So if something like exciting happened or the game was tied, then I I tuned into the computer. Otherwise, I was watching racing. So yeah, it's fun that I can watch both at the same time. So your dad's kind of in charge of the team, and you have teammates, right?
Yeah.
So do you want to tell how that works? Because a lot of kids, it's just them and their parent. So, but you guys have a team. So how does that work?
Well, so it's me and Peyton, we with us only living 20 minutes apart, they come over and they help get her car ready. They help me with my car. Like over the past weekend at Texas, I was in the B main for non-wing and winged. And for dirt, you have like 3 B mains. So of course, my luck, I get put in the 3rd B main for non-wing. And then we had only one restricted B in between us. So I had only like 12 laps to get straight into winged. And since we only have my one car, we had Peyton's dad, Kyle, and then my dad, they were tag teaming my car. So my dad was putting on wings and stuff as Kyle's changing the tires. So it's like my dad runs the team and stuff, but it's like everyone contributes
Mm-hmm.
with helping everyone. Me and Peyton will sit there and talk, and she's done the micro quite a bit, but it's not as much as I've been doing it because they're trying to focus her on like quarter midgets or were and stuff. So since she's still like focusing on like that quarter midget and then doing the micro as like a step
Mm-hmm.
stone, I should say, I guess. It's like I'm trying to help her,
Yeah.
but then she gives me advice too. So we kind of like help each other there too when we're out and about. And then
You,
Kyle, with him coming from basically a racing family, he also helps me and Peyton a lot.
yeah. It's not it's nice that you have each other like all the time kind of, and that your dad has the helper,
Yeah.
because it's a lot even for one parent and one kid, and the fact that there's 2 of you, but that the dads can work together and everything. I think that's a benefit for you. And as far as learning and growing in the sport, you have each other to talk to, you girls. And so that's helpful too.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of help, especially for like times when my mom can't make it out, like the whole family can't go, such as this weekend. My sister had stuff with basketball, and it's one of those things where it's like my parents aren't going to take away from her just for me. So
Right.
my mom stayed back. So my dad literally only had either himself or Kyle was there to help. Thankfully,
Yeah.
Kyle was there to help this time, but there's probably going to be other races that Peyton won't be able to make it to. So it would just be me and my dad. So it
Mm-hmm.
does lead into like, we don't know if we'll be able to do 2 classes at every now
Yeah.
600 we go to. This weekend, it was just a perfect timing for them to come down and help.
Yeah. So where in Texas were you at? And then tell me how did you do?
We were at Texas Motor Speedway in Fort Worth,
Okay.
and how I did, night 1 was a little iffy. I was kind of being newer to A class. I'm still kind of learning the car and stuff, and that's what basically it was. In qualifying, I think I qualified 6th in non-wing and last in wing. And then the heat, it wasn't too good either. I kind of just stayed where I was. And then the B mains came around, and in non-wing actually there was a pile up, and I didn't have time to react, so I kind of hit someone, and it made my right rear go flat. So that ended my night because I couldn't do my wing anymore. And
Yeah.
then the second night, we qualified last in both. In the heat, I only went up 1 spot in non-wing and 2 in winged. In the B for non-wing, I started 14th and went all the way up to 8th. And it was like a 1-lane track, so there was really no passing and stuff, so everyone just stayed where they were at. So it was kind of just hard to make go up to second because only top 2 transferred. In the wing, though, I was in 11th. I made it all the way up to 4th, and then got involved in a little incident, which made me go back to last. In 3 laps, I got back up to 8th from 14th. So, I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't enough to, make it to the A or anything. But, I mean, I definitely feel like we had the car, and I feel like it was there. It's just a 1-lane track, and it was hard to pass.
Well, and I've known you for 2 or 3 years or whatever, and kind of watched as you've gone, gotten better. And when you change to a different class or race maybe at a track you haven't gone to before, just the fact that you're out there getting seat time, that's important, because we know that we're not going to win every race, and and things happen, don't they? I mean, there's things that are in our control and out of our control for sure. So when you have a weekend that maybe you feel like didn't go as well as you had hoped or you thought, how do you handle that? Do you, does somebody talk to you? Do you get upset? Do you kind of let it roll off your shoulders? How do you react to that?
I guess it more or less depends on how the weekend went. Like this time in Texas, I didn't have high hopes because it's like I'm in a new class. And last time I raced at Texas, I actually broke the car every time we went out for a B main. So I guess I kind of took the positives from this Texas versus last Texas, because we didn't really break the car this time. It was just like we only had that flat right rear, and that only happened just because I couldn't react fast enough.
Right.
So that just kind of, it rolled off my shoulders this time. But like, if it's like a race that like I was leading and then the car breaks or I mess up or something, then I get a little upset. I don't let it get to me as much as like some other people would think probably, but like I just feel like you learn from your mistakes. Like every mistake that you do, you learn from it. And I feel like I just get, and it's been like this ever since I was younger, but every time that I've been in the lead, I've always messed it up a little bit. And I just feel like throughout, my 10 years of racing, I feel like I've definitely gotten better at not messing up every time I'm in the lead. Last year, every time I'd be leading, the car would just randomly like break on me. Last year was just such a bad season for me. But like this year, I feel like A class has definitely been a little easier for me. I feel like I've never been good at like momentum games, and that's what restricted is. In A class, at least if I mess up once, I can recover from it, unlike restricted. So A class has definitely been like a little easier to learn, but it's still got that difficulty that I'm trying to get to.
Well, and come on, if it was easy, you know what they say, if it was easy, everybody would do it, right? And so
100%.
100%. And there's so much to it that a lot of people don't understand, like, the setup and the tires and and do you have new tires? Do you have old tires? And all the different things that you have to know about in order to be a successful racer. And I just think finishing the race a lot of times is successful because yeah. And so, when my son raced, I always used to say a successful night is when you bring the car home in one piece. Right. And so
I agree.
Or you're not hurt, or, there's a lot of positives, and getting the trophy and winning isn't always the top positive that you can think about. It's getting better and feeling more comfortable with your car and all those things. So tell me about your cars. Tell me about the, how fast do they go? What are they? What your numbers? Just tell me about them.
Well, so I race a 600cc micro sprint. So it's literally just like an out of the bike street bike motor. And we just kind of throw that into the car. And it's.
What number are you?
I'm 21A.
Okay. And is that for both cars?
So I'm 21A and Peyton is 21G.
Okay.
Yeah.
for your last names.
Yeah, for our last names.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. And you is it what's the hardest thing you've had to like learn or that you're still learning as you move up to a different car?
I think the hardest part was trying to learn how the track changes. Like going from asphalt where it's literally the same line every lap
Mm-hmm.
to dirt where you have to change it every lap or almost have to change it every lap is definitely a little like confusing. That was definitely my hardest point. Going from restricted to A class though has been a little bit of a challenge because I don't know like my footwork yet, and you can't fully let off in A class or else it'll just go one way. So I'm sitting there trying to like not let off, but you
Uh-huh.
also can't use your brakes. So it's a lot of just like footwork and stuff. And even Peyton said it, and I feel like this was my problem when I first started too. But I mean, Peyton in the world formula, she has to let off on entry and then roll back onto it by mid corner. Unlike A class where you can't let off fully or else they'll throw you one way. So that was like definitely a learning point for her.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was like my first learning point too, is because in restricted, when I first started, I didn't know that you could just floor it and only use your brakes. So when I let off, it threw me one way. And that's when I got out of the car and my dad was like, don't let off, like just use your
Yeah.
brake. So was using my brake from there. So I guess
Yeah.
the turning point from there was now it's playing with your feet and learning just how your footwork basically rotates the car and like handles the car.
And see, that's something that a lot of people, if they don't know anything about what kind of car you race, micro sprints or what, they would have no idea. They're like,
Yeah,
well, I didn't see her turn the car. Why did it do that? Well, they don't realize that it's what's going on the floor, on the pedals,
yeah.
not the steering wheel.
I feel like when it comes to dirt, you definitely have a lot more of your footwork into it more than your wheel, which is really shocking to say because usually when
Hmm.
you're like, "Oh, I race," like they're thinking, "Oh, so you just turn the car." Like I swear the
No.
car turns itself sometimes.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It feels like that because there might be, I don't want to say ruts, but there might be paths on the track that are getting worn and your wheel gets in there and there's all kinds of reasons. And I would
Yeah.
think that dirt would be really hard to get accustomed to because like you said, the asphalt, you can kind of pick your marks and you can run the same lap every time.
Yeah.
And in dirt, it might be high, it might be low. So do you watch the people in front of you so you kind of know where to go? Or how do you decide where you should be on the track?
I watch the the races usually. I tend to do that just to see how the track's changing and stuff, seeing where ruts are being created because ruts they can either help you or they can be like your worst enemy. So,
Mhm.
I kind of watch to see where the ruts are forming if there are any ruts. Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. And then I when I first enter the track, I see how it is and I see where like little moisture packs are for me to hit. I do a lot on the track that I try to think of. And then once we like actually go, if I see someone get around me on the top, then I'll try the top. And if it doesn't really work, then I try to just stick to like the bottom or the middle. And I guess I should say I watch my surroundings a lot
Yeah.
because it's like if someone is going to the bottom and then shooting high, then I might as well try that. And every car reacts differently because everyone has a different setup. But it's like if my card tends to do that pretty good, then I'm just going to keep on doing that. And then
Hmm.
if I see someone hit a rut pretty good, then I'll try to hit that rut. But it leads into like if you don't hit the rut good, then you usually get like a really bad lap. So it's like you kind of have to like pick and choose your battles. And I mean, it's the same
Hmm.
thing with running the top when there's a cushion. If you don't hit the cushion right, then you go into the marbles. And if you go into the marbles, then it's just not really a fun game from there. But I mean, if
No.
you like catch that cushion with your right rear, then it usually can carry you through the corner. And all you have
Yeah.
to really do is throttle out.
Right. And see, so how old are you? Did you say you were 14, 15?
I'm 15.
You're 15. So at
Yeah.
15 years old, for people that are listening to this, you can tell that she's raced a long time. And even though she's in a different class and different kind of cart, how much she knows. I'm sitting here listening, thinking, you know a lot about where to run and why it runs this way and why your car does that. And you're only 15 years old. Think what you're going to know when you're 20 years old, right? Because you're learning and learning and learning.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty impressive, actually, ma'am. Because a lot of people, like I said, they have no clue. They just go and watch. They don't know about any of
Yeah.
that. So it's pretty cool.
I feel like a lot of it is muscle memory. Like I don't know why, but I feel like it's one of those things where it's like once you learn how to run the top good, then any track you go to, you'll be able to figure it out pretty fast because you've done it before. So it's kind of like, how do I put this? I won't say a mind game, but it is a lot of like, if you remember how to do it, then it's good. And I guess I won't say I'm a very fast learner, but I feel like I understand things a little quicker. So it's like once I do it once good, then I'm able to do it every lap as well.
Yeah, and that's got to be a benefit, so you obviously learn by doing is probably your
Yeah,
learning method. That's kind of my
100%.
yeah, that's kind of my learning method too. I love to read and that, but if I need to learn how to like do a new program on my computer or something, I just have to mess with it. I really can't like read the book. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
just want I just want to mess with it and learn how to do it.
yeah, definitely doing something is definitely how I learn a lot of
Yeah.
just everything I've done.
Yeah. So you're on spring break. Do you go to a regular school yeah, I assume, or are you homeschooled or how does that work?
I go to a hybrid school. So like Monday,
Okay.
Wednesdays I go into school and then Tuesday, Thursdays and Fridays I'm at home online.
Okay. And that sounds like that would work pretty well. I think I've talked to a couple other people kids that have done that. And it sounds like, first of all, that's a cool way to go to school that you don't have to be there every day at 7:30,
Yeah.
right? And I would think that you can get a lot more done in like part of a day at home than you can in the whole day at the school. I mean, that's just typically how it goes, right?
Yeah, I definitely find it like really nice, especially since like when I'm home, I try to I guess on like Monday and Wednesdays I stay up a little later and knock out like Tuesday's work and then
Mhm.
I will sit there. I sleep in a little bit on Tuesday because I stayed up late. And then by that time, like I'm able to wash the car, I'm able to work on the car for that day. And it's nice to have like that flexibility in my
Yeah.
schedule because then it does lead into I can do so much on the race car and just get it ready for that weekend.
Yeah. So what are some things that you do on the race car? Sometimes I have girls that say, "Yeah, my dad doesn't want me to touch it." But a lot of other girls do learn how to do certain things. So what are some things that you do to help with the car?
I I kind of do almost like everything. Unless like see when I blow a motor or something, I my dad does that. I can't change a motor. Like it's not the fact that I don't know how to cuz I know how to cuz I mean I've been in there helping him. I just don't have the strength for that. I'm shocked
Right.
he can lift it up. So it's kind
Yeah.
of like he does all that. When we're at the track, I usually don't touch the car. Like
Okay.
you won't see me touch the car at the track. But when I'm home, I basically like there's times when I would text my dad and he's at work. I'm like, hey, how do you do this real quick? And he would tell me and then I just do it. So like when we're
Mhm.
home, I do everything except a little challenging things. Like I mean,
Yeah.
before shootout, I put the car together. The only thing
Yeah.
I didn't do was put the motor in the car. Other than that, I did everything else. And then, like, once we got to shootout, I didn't touch the car. Like, I
Yeah.
tell my dad what he needs to do. I just don't touch it at the track. And I really don't know why it's like that. But, I mean, that's just kind of been what we've done ever since I was younger, is I'll help
Yeah.
at home and stuff. And then once I get to the track, like, I just sit there and I watch the races. I give my dad feedback on what to do with the car, and I try to help him a little bit. I definitely, like, when we did winged and non-wing, I pull wings off and I helped him change the tires and stuff. But
Mhm.
other than that, I don't really touch the car at
Yeah.
the track.
Well, and I would think that you need to concentrate more on what the track's doing and what the other racers are doing, and let your dad think about what needs to be worked on the car, right?
Yeah, I definitely try to help a little more at the track now, because it's like there's just so much going on, and
Yeah.
sometimes it can get like really tight. But I mean, other than that, I do go and I watch the races, because I do think that, like, if I know the track and I see how it's like basically coming together, because I'm a very visual person. Like,
Mhm.
I can't think about how the track's going to look. Like, I have to literally see it to know.
Yeah.
Which, that's why I usually just watch the races and tell my dad what needs to be done, instead
Yeah.
of like staying at the trailer and stuff.
Yeah. I think, again, it goes back to your visual learning, that you're a visual
Yeah.
person. Yeah. Same as me, for sure. So you went to the Tulsa Shootout.
Yeah.
Do you want, for somebody who maybe doesn't know anything about that, do you want to share a little bit about that experience?
Well, the Tulsa Shootout, it's definitely the most nerve-wracking race I've ever gone to. Like, there's just so many people, especially since it's like the biggest micro race of the year. It's just like, you have, I won't say you have all this pressure laid on you, but I mean, it is kind of like you really have to, like, always be on your A game there, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just so big and there's so many people. Like, I don't know, it just is so nerve-wracking to race there sometimes. I mean, it's a very fun experience. Like, I genuinely love shootout. It's like the best time of the year, and I hate winter. But,
Yeah.
like, I think it's just like being in the building. You get to see friends that you don't see ever. Like, I have friends who I only see at shootout. Like,
Uh-huh.
it's very rare that I see them anywhere else. So
Yeah.
it's like, I guess, going to shootout, not only do you get a race, but you do see your friends that you don't see there in a while, but you also
Mhm.
have like your heart racing like crazy once you get into the car, because it's like one wrong move and your whole week can just be you sitting watching races, because it's like you couldn't get out of the lowest main. And like last year they had like, I think it went all the way down to like a G main for A
Uh-huh.
class. Like, it was big, so it definitely
Yeah.
does get a little nervous.
It's so big. It has to be overwhelming. I mean, and you know, and there's every age kid there, adults, all kinds of people
Oh
there,
yeah.
famous people, not famous people, just everything. And
Yeah, for sure.
there's so, I haven't ever been there. That's on my bucket list, but I watch it when it's on Flow, and
Yeah.
just watching just what they show is overwhelming, to try to keep track of where I'm supposed to be, and when is this and where is that, and all the things.
Yeah.
And so, but that's part of what makes it fun, I think, is that it's just so big.
Yeah. Well, I guess it doesn't help that, like, you have some people who literally race all week with no stop. So I mean, it's just go 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 all
Mhm.
week. And then like last year, had like 2 days in between my next race, because it's like I raced on Tuesday and then I followed up when it was Friday again. So I mean, like, I guess it just kind of depends on like what you race and like all the other things. So like for me, it was overwhelming, but it wasn't as overwhelming
Yeah.
as some other people who, have been did both outlaw classes and both A class classes.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see how they manage that, honestly, because that would be definitely overwhelming and crazy. It's just some of the stuff, it just looks crazy what's going on there. So, but it's fun, right?
Oh yeah, it's definitely like the time of your life there.
Yeah. And like you said, you've met kids there that then that's the only time you see them, and so that makes it l something to look forward to and something to enjoy, even if you're not racing that day. They might be, you can hang out with them, and so, it's just one of those events that I think even if you don't race, obviously I don't race, but I'd love to go just experience it sometime. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely something that you should try to get to because
Yeah.
it's just like a whole different experience once you go.
Yeah, for sure. I've got it on my bucket list, so I'm gonna get there. So, ma'am, tell me now, what's your plans? Are you traveling a lot this year with your racing, or what are you gonna be doing?
We have some out of state races. We don't have like it's not like we're traveling every weekend. We're definitely staying home quite a bit. We're trying to knock out our 13 little races here. And then we just have like little races in between there. So like I go to Calhan, I think the 4th I race in Calhan, and then the following weekend I go to Kansas. And then it's just kind of like a lot of back to back. Like there's one race where I literally race on a Monday and then I have to leave that Wednesday to go to Washington for a race. So I mean it's definitely more of like a crazy schedule this year
Mhm.
than it was last year, but we don't I don't think we're going up to Indiana again, which is a
Okay.
bummer. That track was pretty fun.
Now, where in
And
Indiana
then
were you at? Were you in Indy? At Indy?
I raced US 24.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
S
we kind of we kind of were doing like the KKM last year, and then this year we aren't doing the KKM, but we tried to shoot for like the Super Series, and then my dad was like, "Let's not do the Super Series and let's go to Nebraska Speed Week." So we switched out that, and then that's going to be crazy too, because I mean that's like we start on a Saturday at airport, and then the whole week we're racing, so it's going to be kind of crazy there.
Yeah, but that'll be fun too, to do events like that. And then you'll race close to home too. So
Yeah.
that's a nice, you can get yourself to where you're traveling so much that everybody's exhausted and it kind of takes some of the fun out. So if you can spread it out a little bit and race at home some, I think that sounds like a really good plan for sure. And then Peyton, will she race pretty much the same schedule as you?
She's doing the home races for sure. I don't think she's really gonna be traveling with us as much. So, I mean, she
Okay.
might come, like, here and there for out of state, but
Yeah.
they just like I said, they don't wanna take from her quarter midget.
Right.
They're so, like, since they're focusing on that, it's like they're all trying to,
Yeah.
like, pile
Make it
or
all
not
work together.
overlap. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So is there anything that we haven't talked about that I've just missed that you want to share about your racing or your schedule or anything at all? And then I'm sure on Facebook they can find you to find out where you're going to be racing.
I I don't think I mean, I think we covered it all.
Okay. And then what's your Facebook page or where do you show your schedule?
Memory Ashcraft Racing should be my schedule, and then if you're looking for like me and Peyton's schedule, it's under Ashcraft Motorsports Racing or
Right.
Ashcraft Motorsports. It's something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. If you put in Ashcraft, it'll come up. It comes up.
It will probably come up.
Yeah, it does. So, well, ma'am, I'm glad to talk to you again. When I see in you're 15, I was trying to think how old you were when I first talked to you. It's been, I want to say 3 or 4 years, and you look more like a grown up young lady. you were a little girl when I first started talking to you.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
actually saw a video not too long ago that like Riley, and Emma took the first time you had us. That
Uh-huh.
like literally 5 minutes before the podcast, we took that video, and you can definitely tell like we've all just kind of grown up throughout
Mhm.
just the span of last year. Because like the first time
Yeah.
you talked to us was 25
Yeah.
or shootout. There's the shootout. So our first ever shootouts when you talked to us.
Uh-huh.
You can tell we've all just grown up so much.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun to do that. That got a lot of views. A lot of views. Yeah, for sure. That was a cute one. Well, ma'am, I'm going to let you go, but I want you to tell your dad I said hi. And
Okay.
hopefully you have a really good year this year. If you tag Women's Motorsports Network when you post things, then it's easier for me to keep track of where you are. And if I can ever have you on and share what you're doing during the season, or we could do a live something from one of the tracks, that would be fun to do.
Yeah.
Kind of put that on your dad's, write him a sticky note and say, we'll do a live show with you, and when you're out racing somewhere, that would be fun.
Yeah. I'll definitely
Yeah.
tell him.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Anything else? Any last words?
I don't
No.
got any. I think
Okay.
yeah, I don't have any. I'm out of words.
Yeah, that's okay. We covered a lot of stuff, so that's good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for being on with me today, ma'am, and
Thank you for having me.
you're welcome. Go back to school next week, and then it won't be long. School will be out, and we'll be on the racetrack every weekend. So that sounds
Yep.
like a lot more fun than school.
100%.
Yeah, sounds good.
Start your engines. This is the Women's Motor